Hello, YouTube. Hello, Nebula. In case you're just dropping in, my name is William C. Fox. This is not a normal video. I usually do videos on history, sometimes the intersection of history and current events. That's not what this video is. It's much more about my personal life, and I do hope it does not come off as oversharing, but rather I think it's important to put this out there so other people know that they can get help too. So let's just get straight to the point. I checked myself into an eating disorder clinic on December 4th or 5th of last year. And I spent about 7 hours a day in something called a partial hospitalization program until March. I then stepped down into something called intensive outpatient, which is more like 3 or 4 hours a day. And that lasted until recently. And I have now discharged from eating disorder treatment and consider myself in recovery. Why am I telling you this? 2 reasons. One is because I feel like I owe it to you a little bit. Hear me out here. I uploaded a video a while back about the history of alcoholism in the United States. And in that video, I explained that back in the day, on average, Americans drank a lot more. The result of which is that, a lot more people fell through the cracks with alcoholism, had more trouble in their life. That's not to say we don't deal with that today, but, in the past, it was more. And when you're looking at that story of alcohol in America and you think about somebody in like the 1800s getting drunk on like a Tuesday morning, there is like a tinge of humor to it. Our culture thinks alcohol is pretty funny sometimes, even though it, does ruin lives. And I'm not here to, police comedy, but in the video, I tried to, at the end of the video, show some empathy towards people, show some empathy towards, us all who struggle with things, and to say that alcoholism was the, addiction du jour or the problem du jour of that era. And, we have different problems today. And we all deserve a little empathy and understanding that, an amalgamation of factors brings people to have disordered relationships with chemicals, with behaviors, etc. And in order to accomplish that talking point at the conclusion of my video, I shared that I had struggled with binge eating and purging, particularly when I was a teenager, but continuing into my adulthood, particularly the binge eating, but the purging really never stopped. And I shared that, and I, expect to get these days, since I took a couple breaks on YouTube to pursue a career outside of YouTube, I expect to get something like a few thousand views per video, and occasionally I have one pop. And this one decided to pop. I can't recall exactly how many views it has, something like 300,000, 400,000. The point being, I thought I was going to be sharing that I had an eating disorder with a small core audience, and it turns out that it ended up being seen by a lot more people. And that was the start for me of realizing that my eating disorder was not just how things have to always be. I was aware that I had an eating disorder, but it was just kind of almost like saying I have, dark hair or hazel eyes or something. It's just it was just part of my identity. It was so just baked in the cake that I never thought oh, maybe I could seek help with this. Or in my mind, seeking help with an eating disorder meant going to the gym and getting a dietitian at the gym, right? A weight loss protocol, rather than seeking a mental health professional. And getting all of the feedback on that video prompted me to think maybe I should seek help. And because people, maybe you're one of them, commented, because people saw that, I ended up seeking help. And so I felt the need to come back and say that I did that. I find it really important as well to spread the word as a man that it's okay to struggle with addiction, with mental health issues, or in my case, and in my case, an eating disorder. And I think you should think of our disordered eating in our society as a mental health thing rather than as a addiction or as a personal flaw, like, character flaw. I think that's really important. And I know that in my program, most of the people there were women. Most of them were younger women. And that is the stereotype, of course, we all carry in our head of what an eating disorder looks like. It looks like a teenage girl, right? That's the stereotype we have in our mind, for better or worse. And for teenage girls, they should seek treatment. Young women should seek treatment. That is totally valid. I'm not here to put that in dispute. I just happen to think that on balance, there are also men out there who struggle, and it's just not as normal. I know normalized is like this word that people don't want to hear. I won't use it, even though I just did. Whatever. The point is, like, I think men should feel like it's okay to get help. I got help. And I don't think men should think that it is not masculine, not manly to get help when you have a problem. Even if you are just looking at traditionally manly, masculine traits, caring for others, providing, sometimes, bringing home the bacon, protecting, right? These sort of masculine traits, these caveman, cowboy traits that we think of when we think of masculinity. What are those things rooted in? What is the care for someone else, providing for someone else, protecting other people? It's rooted in love for others. And I got news for you. You can't really love others unless you love yourself. I currently, and now this video is getting real, I currently don't know if I love myself. My eating disorder and my struggles with it was based in a cycle of self-loathing. That's my kitty cat making noise. Sorry about that. It was based in a cycle of self-loathing. And it's something that I continue to work on. I think going through the process of recovery did allow me to see that I do deep down somewhere, I love myself. I want to love myself at least, and I want to recover. And if I can recover, and if I can continue my recovery now that I've discharged, then I can go on to do the other things that are important to me as a man. I can care for the people around me. I can care for the living beings, the sentient beings in my home, the kitty cat sitting right next to me, the rescue rabbit in the other room. I can care for my girlfriend. I can care for my aging parents, my siblings. I can be a good citizen. I can vote. I can contribute to causes that matter. I can pursue my values on these platforms. On YouTube and Nebula, my value, my mission in life to educate through storytelling, I can do that only if I take care of myself, only if I am of a mind to love myself, to care for myself, to get up in the morning, to do the basic things, to function. In a way, treating my eating disorder is a selfish behavior that ends up, at least in some teeny tiny way, affecting others around me. And if you struggle, I think you should see it the same way. Don't think of it as a pity party for you. Though your struggles are valid, and if you're having a hard time, you shouldn't feel bad because of that. But you should also consider that you can't help others, you can't do good for the world unless you take care of yourself. And if you're a man, you're worried about whether it's manly or not to get help, forget it. Go get help. It is normal to have struggles. Our society is drowning in disordered relationships with food, with health, with body image. Right? This isn't an advocation for body positivity or body neutrality or any of the hot tippity-toppity topics that are percolating on the internet. This is about you. This is about me. This is about our health together. So yeah, when you think of an eating disorder, maybe you think of a young woman. If you're watching this, I want you to also think of me. Maybe of yourself. It is not a big deal. There's nothing wrong with you if you struggle. Another systemic note that I think is necessary to make is that those who have followed me for a while know that the last 5 years I worked at the German embassy in Washington, D.C. I've been like a digital specialist there, and I've helped write things for the ambassador. It's been a privilege. I have news on that coming up very soon. But the point being that I also recognize that I could not have sought help had I not had a job with good health insurance. And in that way, I am preaching to a group of people who may not have those same access that I had. And so I don't want to be dismissive of people who struggle to get help. I know there are some free resources online. I know that, for example, that my center has some support groups in the evenings, sometimes that are free and that anyone can attend. So I don't want you to feel hopeless if you don't have health insurance, if you're living in our system that does not prioritize the health of its population. I just wanted to acknowledge that that's a struggle that a lot of people have, and that I know that what I did was special, and that the fact that I didn't have to go bankrupt to get help for myself and that I could take unpaid leave from a job, right? That I knew that I could go back to that salary after taking unpaid leave for a couple months. Like, that was great. And I don't take it for granted. So if you're still watching this, heads held high, happy warriors. I appreciate you letting me share. I appreciate that you presumably are not complaining in the comments that I posted something that's off topic from what I usually post. Again, for all those who have supported me, I want to encourage you to consider supporting yourself too, if you need it. It doesn't have to be eating disorder related. It could be anything. But the point is that you matter. If you need help, go get it. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to continue to be open about my eating disorder journey in the future, because men in particular in our society right now are having, it's a mental health crisis for all of us. But as a man, watching now younger men, I sometimes I still think of myself as young, but I'm in my mid-30s now. I see a lot of male role models out there that are absolute trash. And that are presenting the idea that the only way to solve your problems is to white knuckle through them, or to resent other people, or to take an aggressive posture. And I would like to be a voice that says, no, it doesn't have to be that way. And at the base of our values should hopefully be a love for oneself and a love for others. And that's the voice that I'd like to carry on for as long as I do have a voice in my personal life and my small little corner of the internet. And if you allow me, that's one I'd like to continue to use, and messages I'd like to continue to spread. My imaginary producer's telling me I've been rambling for far too long, so I'll leave it there. I have actually another personal update. This is going to be just a personal update month, but I'll save that because I don't want to cross wires here or give the impression that I would like to take advantage of what is a very serious thing in eating disorder treatment. And so with that, head held high, happy warrior, I'll talk to you later. Later, y'all.